For the 14th ceremony this May, Terunofuji stood next to Takakeisho, 2 sizes larger, 2 top knots taller, and after yesterday, 2 wins better off. On paper, Takakeisho was completely disadvantaged. But in practice, in the same changing room, the same corridor, and on the same side of the dohyo, the smaller Ozeki would have vital time for mind games before tomorrow's showdown. A tournament leader must be unnerved by the sight and sound of his closest pursuer physically behind him in the corridor for several long minutes. The command of "watch my back" takes on nigh literal meaning for his attendants. Taking his cue, one of them earnestly brings his floor cushion to ringside. And his flannel, and retrieves Hoshōryu's cushion while he's there. His fealty again proved, he retraces his steps and bows to the man whose life he makes easier, now striding down to the ring with swaying arms for the match which could hand him the cup, and looking just about convinced he deserves the attention. The place his feet just warmed is then trampled by Takakeisho and made his own. For warm-ups, stretches, bicep checks, wipe downs, and simply making his presence felt. And from that great distance, familiar to less wealthy fans, he watches the match for which Teru is front row. Takayasu versus Hoshōryu. An Ozeki bid is confirmed, and the final backstage preparation begins. The announcement of the first wrestler's name triggers the attendants' walk. And he efficiently returns with the cushion of stablemate Takanosho. With a final squat to stretch those thighs and expansion of arms, Takakeisho inhales, then bursts into the hall, ready for a key interaction. It's all standard ringside stuff, but he'll have enjoyed this chance to walk across Teru with heavy breaths and briefly block his view. If he wanted a response, he got one. And the fascination is mutual. The two Ozeki will thus observe the next bout side by side, and certainly look for omens. Taka's colleague versus Teru's friend. Oh dear, right at the rope. But not entirely bad news for Takakeisho, for his colleague's loss means he must now hand Teru the ladle, and thus stay in his face. So grippingly awkward it all is that we forget the third man in this affair, showing off his high foot-stamps in the other corner. For all the mind games we've been watching, Endo is the one Teru must physically fight. They've gone 4-4 over the years, but have met just twice since 2017. What's clear is that Endo, 2 points behind, has less to lose and more to prove. 8 years ago, as amateur Yokozuna turning pro, he was Japan's great hope, featured on breakfast TV as a future champion, and sponsored like one, to the great envy of his less popular foes. What's he ever done to deserve his wealth? They would often snipe. He comes waltzing in here at 22, barely works as an attendant, and has it all on a plate. But what's he ever done? And Endo could justly point to a run of injuries since his teens. But he'd rather show them once and for all why they should never devalue amateur success, which he still has the talent to do. He wanted Teru earlier this time. We saw that in the ladle moment yesterday, when he gave the leader a half-longing, half-chilling look, which said, "Tomorrow, finally, we meet." The long run of salt throws ends, and Takakeisho seeks some inner peace as helplessness strikes. Right now, he's the only contender who can't affect the outcome of the race. "Endo, take him out!" shouts one man, using the judo term ippon. As we're not supposed to shout, the words fly straight into wrestler ears, and Endo is not displeased. He has the least to lose. And a fine inside attack with shades of Takayasu in March has a stunned Teru fumbling for a clamp with which to throw. But despite his last-ditch effort, it is Endo who breaks into smiles, bang in front of Takakeisho. And yet, Teru seemed to come down on top, not least in the referee's view. The judges will have to check. Discuss they do, for 3 full minutes and more. For Teru's coach Isegahama, deja vu rings loud. Wednesday's hair-pull drama revisits as his face becomes creviced with concern. Every possible angle must be checked, for the title rides on this call. What will it be? The 3 contenders form a triangle of nerves as they listen.
ただいまの競技について説明いたします。軍配は照ノ富士に上がりましたが、照ノ富士の肘が先についており、軍配差し替えで。
Endo wins! And exhales from ear to ear with a nod which says, "That's what amateur Yokozuna means." Now a buoyed Takakeisho must mount and perform in front of Teru, lost in thought and unwilling to watch. As a loser, he will not be handling the ladle. Takakeisho's attendant will step in, thus decreasing Ozeki interaction, much to Takakeisho's liking. This warm-up will also be long, the lengthy stream of sponsored banners taking ages to announce. Finally, it is time to deliver against a man who's been here the whole time without ever seeming present. Shaky Ozeki Shodai. And Teru has seen enough of his lead being halved for one day, speeding down the aisle and past the interview room. Takakeisho joins Endo in second and knows that victory over Teru tomorrow will seal a playoff for 2, and even for 3 if Endo beats Shodai. Which all means that instead of a rapturous welcome this evening, the street outside Teru's stable played host to nothing. Join us tomorrow to see how it all pans out.